So viruses can deposit in different parts of the respiratory system, depending on the size of the carrier aerosol. What do we know about SARS-CoV-2? Next. CDC recognized SARS and MERS as being airborne, and I do want to point, I'm not going to go into detail here because the previous speaker mentioned that we shouldn't assume anything about transmission routes based on phylogenetic similarity. But I do want to say that from an investigation of the SARS outbreak, they wrote that fear of panic and political blame led to the reluctance of various health authorities in admitting airborne spread of SARS in the community. Next. Next. Here are some observations for SARS-CoV-2. This is a study from a hospital in Wuhan where they measure the size distributions of SARS-CoV-2 RNA gene copies in different rooms of the hospital. And you can see that there's plenty of virus found in the aerosols smaller than 2.5 microns. The concentrations were especially high, 40 copies per cubic meter. In the protective apparel room, where workers remove their protective apparel, they found that after they implemented new procedures to reduce the number of people in the room, clean the protective apparel, and clean the floor better, that they eliminated this issue and were not able to detect virus in the air after that. Next. Of note, they also detected viral RNA in air in crowded areas outside the hospital and a department store, so not in patient rooms. Next. Now I'd like to talk about differences in how we detect virus. First, we can detect the RNA, which is very easy to do. We have very sensitive methods to do that, which is great because it's hard to sample from air to get a large enough sample. Next. But just because the RNA is there doesn't mean that we have infectious virus. So the way to confirm that is to actually try to culture our sample. Next. SARS-CoV-2 RNA has also been found in other hospital studies. In Singapore, this study is nice because they looked at aerosol size also. You can, in 3 different rooms, they did not find viral RNA in any of the samples smaller than size fractions smaller than 1 micron. They did find it in sizes larger than 1 micron. And at Nebraska, they found similar levels in the thousands of RNA copies per cubic meter. Next. A couple of weeks ago, a preprint reported the finding of infectious SARS-CoV-2 in aerosols collected at distances greater than 2 meters from the patient's bed. What's different about this study is that they used a sampler that's been newly developed where it samples more gently. It collects the air and it condenses water onto any aerosols that are there and then deposits them directly into some kind of liquid. And this is in contrast to other air sampling methods, which are usually fairly harsh and can cause damage to the virus. Next. So SARS-CoV-2 has been detected in air, both the viral RNA, clearly in multiple studies, and there's a suggestion that that virus can be infectious in air. There have been lab studies showing that SARS-CoV-2 can survive in aerosols for an extended period of time. The group at Rocky Mountain Labs found a half-life in aerosols of 1.1 hours, similar to what they found for the original SARS-1. And then Chad Roy's group has also looked at this experimentally, and they found that the virus survives up to 16 hours in aerosols, also at a kind of a mid-range relative humidity. Next. There have been many outbreaks that implicate but do not prove aerosols. One that Dr. Burke didn't mention is the Korean call center. This is the diagram of the 11th floor of the building. There were a high number of cases here, only on one side of that floor. Those cases are shown in blue, suggesting that something about the shared air perhaps is responsible for transmitting these transmitting the virus, because they noted in the paper that there were considerable interactions between people in this entire building, in the lobby and the elevators, and yet they did not see this type of concentrated outbreak in other parts of the building. I know it's not proof, but it's really hard to, it's harder to explain these types of outbreaks by any other routes. It's just hard for that many people to spend that much time in close contact with each other. They'd be very busy. There are several commonalities I'd like to point out among these different super spreading events. They are often crowded. There's vocalization. We've heard about the choir. This is a call center, so people are, I assume, talking on the phone for long periods of time. In many cases, there's insufficient ventilation and no masks. Next. So there's different types of interventions that we can use to reduce transmission by aerosols. The first is source control. So here, keep your eye on that respiratory plume and the density of red dots of aerosols in the room. Next. If we put a mask on the person who's infected, we've greatly reduced, even if not completely eliminated, the number of viral aerosols that they release into the air around them, thus having an effect on what's in the entire room. We've also completely blocked the droplets. Notice that those large blue droplets are gone. Next. Ventilation and filtration can also play a role in helping dilute the aerosols, removing them from the air. There's other technologies like UV that we'll hear about later, I'm sure, in this workshop. Keep your eye now on the density of those red dots in the air. Next. So if we provide better ventilation and filtration, we can remove some of those from the air and prevent them from building up. Next. Distance and PPE, we've heard about this a lot. So obviously the person who's close to the infected individual is being exposed to a higher concentration of viral aerosols compared to the person who's farther away. Next. And if those people are wearing masks of some sort, that will further reduce their exposure. Next. Hygiene is important for aerosols and droplets. So in some of the studies we've seen so far in hospitals, they find some of the highest viral loads or highest number of positive samples on the floor. And so I've shown here aerosols and droplets on the floor. Keep your eye on those. Next. So if we clean the floor, we've removed those and the possibility for them to be resuspended into air. Next. If we layer these 4 different interventions on top of each other, source control, ventilation and filtration, distance and PPE, so both 1 and 3 involve masks, and hygiene. Hygiene obviously also helps with the direct contact and fomite or indirect contact routes. We can achieve a large reduction in the risk of transmission. Next. This is what things might look like if we apply all 4 of those interventions. Next. So to summarize, we have seen that breathing, talking, coughing, and other activities produce about 100 times more aerosols than they do large droplets. And these are important at short range in addition to long range. Aerosols may contain infectious viruses that remain suspended in air for hours and can be transported many meters from the source. And for SARS-CoV-2, where we have asymptomatic hosts, the aerosol route is especially important in conversation at close distances and in crowded, poorly ventilated rooms. I hope I have laid the foundation for the excellent lineup of speakers and discussants we have in the next 4 sessions. Thank you for your attention.